Kind of a big deal today. Something you guys have been asking for a long time, the SIG 2011, which is going to be called the SIG P211, appropriately. And also appropriately, I've got one of the best shooters in the world with me, and a great guy, Max Michel. Max, thank you so much for being on the program here. I want to talk, frankly, not just bullet points, not marketing shit, with Max. Now, Max, if people don't know you, let's get the creds. Let's get the resume real quick.
Yeah, so I've been shooting my whole life. My dad got me started when I was just 5 years old. By the time I was 8, I was competing. When I was 15, I was winning state level championships, got recruited by the U.S. Army to be on their shooting team, went on to stay there for 10 years and win countless nationals and world championships, got noticed by SIG, got recruited there, been here 17 years, and been very fortunate and blessed to set world records, win national and world titles, and continue to do it at a high level for a long time. And along the way, I get to train a lot of amazing people, from brand new shooters to elite operators, as well as developing a lot of the product here at SIG Sauer. So it's been a heck of a run so far.
You've had an amazing career, and you still got a lot in front of you as well. So this young man lives on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain. Before we get into this, we need best restaurant in New Orleans.
Mr. John's Steakhouse.
Yeah, we were just talking about
That's
that.
my number one.
Yeah. How long have you been shooting 2011? Because that's part of the reason why I wanted to have you on.
Yeah, so I've been running this since I was just 15 years old. This is my very first sponsor, was STI at the time. Now they're Staccato, of course, but that was my first sponsor at 15 years old, and I just couldn't wait to get that 2011 in my hand. Before that, I was running EAAs and tank folios and doing everything that I could to get noticed, and then once that sponsorship came, everything kind of started to happen for me, and it just felt really great in the hand.
Yeah, so I know you've got a lot of experience with these guns, and I know you've been a SIG shooter for a while, so this is probably exciting for you. Now you get to add this kind of to the rep.
So exciting. So when I got here, this is my 17th season, so I've been here for a very long time, and this was one of the first conversations I had with Ron Cohen, and he was here for maybe 3 or 4 years at the time. And I said, hey, I want to do a double stack 1911. I want to do a 2011. And he entertained the idea for a bit, and he had me kind of going on the search for who might supply frames for us, because at that time we were just going to use our parts because we had 1911s, we just didn't have a double stack.
Yeah.
So I found it, I brought it to him, said, this is it, this is what I want to do. And he says, I think we can do it cheaper, and I think we can do it better. So it took some time to get there because there was other projects, obviously 320s, 365s, and all the military contracts between then and now. So we're finally here, we have the opportunity, and it's here, and I couldn't be happier. I'm super excited.
So if I understood what you just said correctly, you had this conversation with Ron Cohen, it sounds like 17 years ago.
Yeah, 15 plus years ago.
Maybe that's when you guys were turning out the GSR. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, so we had a 1911 Max that we were just kind of bringing to life, and I was like, hey, what if we make it a fat Max, and we could get this thing with 20-something rounds in the gun, but it just wasn't a focus back then, because really, law enforcement, military, that was kind of the dividing factor where we were heading at the moment, and competition shooting wanted 2011s, but the general population didn't at that time. And as things started to pick up and change, you see Staccato starting to come to life, and then the Prodigy started to come, so all these other people, and I think it caught his attention and was like, we could do that better.
Everyone's been expecting this. I mean, everyone's been expecting this, and it's so funny because I posted a video about this on Twitter last night. Half the comments were like, duh, we saw this coming. Everybody knew this was coming. And then half of them are like, it's today April Fool's, because it's like at the same time, it's taken so long for this to happen that many people believed it was never going to happen. Max, tell me about the P211 specifically. I think now's a good time to just talk about the specs, the features, whatever, and then we could talk a little bit more about the development.
Yeah, so first we wanted to make sure we had SIG's 2011. I didn't want it to be a 226 feel or a 320 feel. I wanted a 2011 and SIG's version of that. But one of the things and the highlights that I think you're going to see on the GTO is the compensator. I don't think it gets enough love. We've only been here, it's only been launched for a couple of days, and we haven't really talked much about that. But this is a 3D printed part, which sounds wild. Our suppressor folks went ahead and put this together for us because we weren't able to create what we wanted to from the machining side, but you can on the 3D printed part side. So this is our mock 3D print compensator, and the way that it allows the gases to escape. You'd have to talk to an engineer on a suppressor about that, but it is insane the way that it sits flat on the target. So that's the first thing you're going to notice when you shoot this gun. The deep slide serrations are great. Depending upon what model you have, you're going to have either a fiber optic front sight or just a standard front sight. So if it comes with an optic, you'll have your standard front sight so you can co-witness on that Romeo X compact fully enclosed optic. And if you don't have an optic, we have a fiber optic front sight, because a lot of the folks who shoot competition or performance-based shooting, they like that fiber optic front sight. So that's the upper, and it's got a SIG lock footprint, which is pretty awesome as well. It's going to be indestructible for you. Another great feature on this pistol is it's completely ambidextrous. A lot of people like that, right? Because if you're shooting right-handed, left-handed, when we were doing some demos and some drills today, people enjoy that because they're not worried about, hey, I can't reach the mag release or I can't reach the slide stop, things of that nature. The trigger on the pistol is incredible. So just stock trigger, it's
really
not bad,
good.
dude.
It is really good.
Now,
do we know the trigger weight? Well,
it's about 3.5 to 4 pounds, which I think is great coming from the factory. If you see my pistol in the competition range, it might be closer to 2 pounds because I'm going to tweak the heck out of that thing, and it's going to be great shooting. But another great feature on this pistol is it's a steel frame with an aluminum lower. Many folks out there, if you're going to get that aluminum lower, they're going to pay an extra $400 just for that, right? So if you get a Staccato or some of these other brands and they have polymer lowers and they want to switch to an aluminum or a steel lower, they're going to pay quite a bit of money. So you're already getting this here set up with the steel frame and the aluminum lower. And it does have removable grip panel. So there's going to be a lot of accessories available to folks once this kind of hits the market. These are Hogue G10 grips, feel great in the hand. The mag well is amazing on that pistol as well. And one of the most unique features of all, as I'm sure everybody knows now, is it accepts 320 magazines, which is huge. So I think you're going to see a 2011 style pistol with an indestructible magazine and a 23 round mag at that. So it ships with one 23 round mag and two 21 round mags, which everybody's have seen. And you probably have hundreds of mags at home already. So this is just a great pistol. I'm looking forward to shooting it.
And that's the thing about 2011s. Magazine prices are effing insane, and even with popular brands that are out there, it sometimes can be hard to find. Some of them are Checkmate, and some of them are whatever Staccato uses, and this is, and I'm glad to have you because this is not my realm. I'm not a 2011 guy. I own one 2011, and I don't shoot it all that much. But that said, what I do know is that it's a pain in the ass.
That's really going to separate us. And I think the most important thing that separates us is this is an amazing pistol that's compensated. And when you shot it, but when I shot it for the first time, I've shot several prototypes over the years. And so this has been an ongoing thing. And over the last several months, I've definitely shot and tweaked some things as well. But when I shot it for the first time a few days ago, because I hadn't been here in a few months, I took my first shot and was like, oh my gosh, I was expecting recoil. And I was using factory 124 grain bullets, and it just, shot so incredibly flat. So I think that and the way that it's set up and all these features and the price point, we're not really have mentioned that yet either. You're looking at $2,400 with the 23 round mag and two 21 round mags and all these features. I think it's going to rival everything else out there, and it's probably half the price of some of the ones that are very similar to that model.
Yeah, sure. Does it come with the optic? Do I remember that, or was I drunk last night?
Yeah, so there's two models. We have one with the optic and one without. So without the optic, you're looking at $2,400, and with the optic, you're looking at $2,800. I mean, that's pretty insane pricing when you think about the performance of this gun and some of the competitors that are out there making a similar gun for over $4,000. This is pretty incredible.
I mean, is this a 100% SIG gun?
This is a 100% SIG gun, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, so you guys aren't farming any parts out or anything like that?
Nope, this is all made here in the USA in New Hampshire, baby.
Internal versus external extractors on 2011s, is that a thing, or am I just regurgitating FUD lore that I read like on 1911 forums?
Yeah, I mean, I probably don't have a lot of knowledge in that other than every 1911 I've ever ran has been an internal. This is back, way back when, and we've had several issues over the years with that. And the external extractors just are much more durable, much more reliable in that regard. So from the 1911 Max way back in the day when we started doing that many years ago to what you're seeing here today, I think that's going to give you more reliability and just overall just be more repeatable for you when you need it.
Yeah, how did it shoot on the range today? I mean, I didn't have any issues with it. So.
I actually ran over there a couple times. Like, hey, any problems? And it's been no problems whatsoever. Yeah. So it's been, and it was a test because we, to be completely honest with you guys, it was down to the wire, right? We knew this event was coming, and we were trying to get everything ready, make them look pretty, make them, make sure everything's working properly, make sure the compensator's where it needs to be, and our guys, our product management team, the engineers, and all the staff knocked it out of the park, not just by developing this, but by bringing it the time frame that we brought it to make it happen for you guys here today has been awesome.
Yeah, and talking about that time frame, so Ron Cohen's relatively new, you're relatively new. This is, 15, 16, 17 years ago. You say, hey, look, this would be a good idea. It gets put on a shelf. And then what I remember from the conversations I've had today, the engineering team maybe 4 years ago, so it's back in 2021, they say, look, we think now's the time. Now's the time to do this. And I think I remember a setback perhaps because of COVID. And then production spins back up again. You mentioned the brake, the compensator on there. You talked about how they 3D printed it. Just to add some color on that, and I'm sure I'm telling you what you know already, but for the benefit of the viewers, you guys, as you mentioned, the suppressor division made this because they know fluid dynamics. I kind of just pulled that out of my ass, but it's like fluid dynamics, and they've got a server, whatever, where they run. I mean, they mentioned it to me earlier today. I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but they simulated, like they didn't just make this up. They didn't just draw it on a cocktail napkin and say, hey, this brake is it looks cool. They actually ran this. They modeled it, and they figured out that this was the brake. Do we know comparatively how this works relative to like other, I mean, you can name names, you can not name names, I don't give a shit, but I mean, comparatively.
So what I've been told is 30% flatter is what I've been told, but I've shot it side by side with the Staccato XC. I don't know if I can say that on air.
Yeah, dude, you can say this TFE TV, you say whatever you want. Take your shirt off.
I shot it side by side. This was a few months ago because we had been through several compensators and we were trying to figure out which one we wanted. I was shooting prototypes where compensators were not set properly and things were just getting crazy, but we finally had it set. I came up, shot them side by side, and I was floored about how flat it shot. I felt, in my opinion, that it shot flatter and better than a Staccato XC, and again, at probably half the price, which was incredible. And another thing that we didn't mention, that this is, in I would say on average, your 2011s out there, this is 6 times more reliable than your standard 2011 from the testing that we found with this.
Yeah, where'd you get that number? So did you guys kind of test comps? I know that's a common thing, where you'll buy the competing product or products, you'll get your MRBS, your mean rounds between stoppages, whatever, you'll do your testing.
Exactly, so the guys did the testing, and I think why this wins is just purely because of the magazine, right? So when you think about the other brands out there, and I've trained a lot of awesome dudes in different agencies and government groups, and they run some different competitors of ours, different products, different 2011s, and you see those stoppages with the magazines all the time. They hit the dirt, go back in the gun, stoppage. Right? So with this, I don't know if you've seen some of the videos on that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty wild what you're seeing out there. So I think that's where they're getting their data from, is they're running multiple guns, seeing, on average, when do you get a stoppage versus when do we get a stoppage. And that was a number that we came up with that was 6 times more reliable. But I think when it comes down to it, it's just the reliability of these magazines have been proven and tested.
Sure. I can make or break a pistol.
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you a real quick story. When I shot 2011s back in the day, there was literally a mag mechanic, is what we called him. It was this one guy based out of California, and he was super hard to get on the phone and super hard to get him to do work, but I would ship him 10 or 12 mags at a time, and I would pay anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 for my mags just to make sure that they were ready for the year. And if they would never touch the ground, if they touched the ground, I would have to do all the things needed to make sure they were clean and polished and feed lips are good, and this just runs.
Yeah, and they cost you $200 each too.
Exactly.
Yeah, plus your maintenance costs. I mean,
seriously,
it's like owning a sports car. Yeah, that's funny. I was just like literally the same time, dude. We're such bros. I mean, look at us. Look at us. Yeah. Dude. Now I'm hurt because I thought we always had been, Max. No, dude, I really appreciate you being on the program. I mean, kudos to SIG for doing this. And again, I mean, I almost hate how fancy this is because normally like our production's way shittier. It looks like this is a fucking ad or something, because we're sitting here in the studio, but this is genuinely like a conversation that I'm having with you. Look, I'm not a 2011 guy. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna buy this gun. Like, I'm not gonna buy probably any 2011, but shit, like for you guys at home, if you're thinking about a 2011, I mean, at this point, wow, like with the price, the features, the testing, the fact that it takes 320 mags, this is going to be pretty tough to beat.
Yeah, and I would say to kind of close it out on my end, I know I work for SIG Sauer, right? So I'm supposed to say these things, but I really do truly love this gun. And if I worked somewhere else, I'd be pretty pissed off that I didn't get to shoot this gun.
Yeah.
I'm very, very happy that we finally made it happen. Some years later, after those conversations with Mr. Cohen, and I'll be shooting this gun in competition this fall.
Best of luck. I hope it goes well. It sounds like it will.
Thank you.
And Max, always a pleasure to have you on the program. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care.